When the team's losing, whose fault is that? Is it the coach or is it the players? Now, in most sports situations, when a team's losing enough over enough time, it's the coach that gets fired. But I would suggest that in part, that's just because it's easier to fire one person than, say, 100 student athletes on a college football team. It's not necessarily that it's that one person's fault or another person's fault. It's just easier. Now, in business, I would say the answer depends on who you are. If you're the coach, then it's your fault. If you're the player, then it's your fault. Why? Because you're the only one you can change. And if you don't take complete ownership of the failure, well then all you're going to be doing is pointing fingers at other people, and that's not necessarily going to get anything accomplished. So if you're the player, if you're, say, the salesperson, you've got to say, hey, the reason we're not selling like we should is my fault. And I'm going to start doing something different, whether that be putting in more effort, more hours, or changing what you do. You've got to change something in order to make things better. Now, if you're the sales manager, you've got to do the same thing and say, no, it's me. I'm not preparing the team well enough. I'm not coaching the team well enough. I'm not reviewing enough of the right things and helping them with enough things, and it's my fault. So you only control you. So pointing the finger at someone else isn't going to help. So own it. I'm working with a sales team that over the last several months has not been hitting their goals. And it's been long enough that it's clear that it's not just a one-off bad month, that it's a consistent pattern. And the sales manager went to the team and said, hey, you guys aren't hitting your numbers. You need to start hitting your numbers. The team obviously didn't take that very well and said, no, it's your fault because you're looking at the wrong things and you're pushing us to do the wrong things. And it just got into this kind of back and forth battle. Well, I stepped back with the coach, with the sales manager, and we determined that he needed to take ownership. He needed to say, no, this is on me, and come back to the team with that approach. So the next week in the sales meeting, the sales manager said, hey, I misspoke last week. I took the wrong tact. I presented it wrong. What I'm asking you isn't what are you going to do to fix this? I'm asking you what can I do to help you? And he got a bunch of ideas. Turns out that there were some metrics that they used to track about existing accounts that they'd kind of fallen off on. They put such an emphasis on outbound calls, which I love. I would never say don't put emphasis on outbound calls, but they're putting emphasis on outbound calls to what felt to the sales team like to the exclusion of all else. So the sales team was no longer looking at their account management metrics, only their outbound calls, and saying they didn't have time. Now, whether they did have time or didn't doesn't matter. They didn't feel like they did, and the coach wasn't reinforcing that they did and making that an important part of their week. So they just blew it off and were focused on outbound calls. So that was one change they made. They started looking at a broader set of metrics. Another big change they made was pipeline reviews. They used to do pipeline reviews and had kind of gotten away from it. And the reason you want to do pipeline reviews is twofold. One, it gives you a chance to review each deal. What's going on? Where are we at? What do we got to do to keep this thing moving forward? And it also gives you a sense of, do we have enough activity to even hit our numbers? So if you need to close $10,000 this month and you only have $5,000 in the whole pipeline, well, you're probably not going to hit your goal because you're not going to close everything. But even if you did, it's not enough. Now, if you had 50,000 and you only needed to close 10, okay, now we might have enough in there. But if it's the same 50 that we've talked about week after week, well, then maybe not. So pipeline just creates a lot of opportunities to have a lot of good conversations about do we have enough and where is it and how do we keep it moving. So the bottom line is you only control you. So if you're the coach, it's your fault. What do you need to do differently? If you're the player, it's your fault. What do you need to do differently? Whoever you are on the team, you've got to own the situation. And it's easy to jump in front of the success and say, yep, I was part of the success. That was me. But it's a lot tougher to say, yeah, the failure, that was me. It's a lot easier to just point the finger. But you can't do that. You can't do that as a player, and for sure you can't do that as a coach. So if that's you, if you've got an opportunity as a coach, as a leader, to help a team, make sure you're approaching them with the question, how can I help you? What am I doing or not doing that's preventing you, in your opinion, from winning? Let's talk about that, and then I'll make some changes if that makes sense. You don't have to take their suggestions, but let's get their suggestions and figure out what we got to do. We know we got to do something different because what we're doing isn't working. Unless you just totally have the wrong team, and that's a different problem. And that's still your fault because you're the one that's responsible for this team. So if you got the wrong people, get the right people. But probably it's not that you have the wrong people. It's probably that something's changed, or you've lost focus, or you've over-indexed on something. You just need to make some pivots. So own it and make some different choices. Own it and make some changes. Own it and get back on the track of winning, whether you're the player or you're the coach.